This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Prince David's Streams. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Glasses are dirty. Ugh, that's even worse. I guess I gotta do this one without being able to see. We'll name that. No, I did not get a jumper. Where's me jumper? Patron. And then we'll save that. Save project as. Why is it not saving? Okay, there we go. SC1. What episode is this? 146. Save. Episode 146 of Switchcraft is also brought to you by OP Seat. OP Seat understands that when you spend many hours sitting down and playing your favorite game, the last thing you want is to be uncomfortable. OP Seat was founded with the goal of producing premium PC gaming chairs that are extremely comfortable and for extended period of time at a price you can afford. I don't like this. I'm reading their ad copy and I shouldn't do that. I got to rewrite that. I'll just do it off the cuff. Episode 146 of Switchcraft is also brought to you by OP Seat. OP Seat makes extremely comfortable gaming chairs that you can sit in for a very long time and be comfortable while you're gaming. Head on over to opseat.com and nope. I think my coupon code got canceled and I can't figure out how to uncancel it, so I can't say to use Run Jump Sit as the coupon. Episode 146 of Switchcraft is also brought to you by OP Seat. Get your awesome gaming chair over at opseat.com. I'm sitting in one right now. They're very, very comfortable, excellent lumbar support. I highly recommend OP Seat chairs. Just head on over to opseat.com/ref/runjumpstomp. OP Seat, Vaxxer, OP Seat. Sponsor. Save. Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and on Saturday at whatever time I can get around to it. Tune in live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, and you'll be greeted by the hooligans that are hanging out with me right now. People like Snogo's Ham, Vaxxer, Zap D Seed, Aerslia is here, Kid Curdy, Crimson Dragon, Mikey B Playing, Pudding, and Stormtrooper 2K421. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I record the show. Let's jump right in. I got an email from John. John said, "Hey Bill, kind of want to comment on the upcoming Mario movie. I am probably the oddball that enjoyed both the old Mario movie and the cartoon. I even tried to get my daughter into the cartoon since it was on Netflix, but more to the point, I've been listening to several podcasts and everybody believes that Mario should not talk. I know minions are funny and that works for them, but I think that Mario and all the characters in the movie should talk. People need to realize it's a movie and not a video game, and if he does not have words and only video game noises, probably it's going to be a bad movie. What are your thoughts? I sent this to you because you are my favorite Nintendo podcast." Well, John, I appreciate that you enjoy the podcast. However, I'm going to have to disagree. Charles Martinet does a great job voicing Mario, but I don't think that I want to hear dialogue from Mario because it's just not going to sound good. It's going to be irritating. Now, if they replace Charles Martinet with somebody else to do the voice of Mario, then I think that that would be almost unfair to Charles Martinet. And again, I think that Charles Martinet does a great job when it's just the odd woohoo or let's a go, that kind of thing. But to hear him, do a whole sentence is probably going to be grating, especially over an hour and a half movie with lots of dialogue. However, what do I think should happen? I think that everybody but Mario should talk. So Mario, well, maybe even not Luigi. But those the main characters shouldn't talk, and it's okay for Princess Peach to talk. Her voice isn't irritating, and she has said things in the past. And Toad, I don't know, he's kind of irritating. Even the more I think about it, the more I really don't want to hear these characters talk. And there's a reason that Nintendo had gone such a long time without having them talk. So I'm not sure what I'm expecting from the movie. I think that the movie will be good because Shigeru Miyamoto's in charge of it. He is working with the creative directors at Imagine Entertainment to make sure that we have something that's worth watching. Nintendo surrendered creative control of the Mario movie that was made back in the early 90s or late 80s or whenever it came out. And I think that they understand that that's not something that they should have done. So now they're holding on to their creative control. They're being a lot more deliberate about it. And so I'm sure that we're going to get a good movie. But I'm not looking forward to the idea of an hour and a half of Mario talking the way that Mario does. I am happy to be wrong, though. I also got an email from Doyle's Bane. Doyle's Bane says, "Hey RJS, you recently asked about what we would like to see in Smash when it comes out on the Switch. Of course, I totally agree that new characters from ARMS and Splatoon need to be there, and skins from Breath of the Wild and Odyssey are musts as well. The additional content that I would like to see in the next Smash also ties into the phenomenal success that the Switch enjoyed in its first year, indie support. I think that having characters and maps from Shovel Knight, SteamWorld Dig, and Stardew Valley would be amazing, and it would totally be in line with the emphasis that Nintendo has placed on building goodwill with indie studios. What better way to remind players and devs alike that Switch is now the go-to destination for great indie content? Just my 2 cents. Keep up the great work. Best, Doyle's Bane." I think that those are fantastic ideas. I would love to have Shovel Knight in Smash Brothers game, and we're going to talk more about Smash in a little bit. But I hadn't really thought about it before, or if I had, I never. It was only a fleeting thought where it was there, and then I moved on. But I don't know about Stardew Valley. Like, what character from Stardew Valley would be on the Switch or on Smash Brothers? That would be kind of weird. Would it be the old guy that runs the corner store, or would it be the guy from Joja Mart? I don't know. So it brings up a funny thought about like who would be the character that would come from Stardew Valley. But I do like the idea of these indies, like characters from SteamWorld Dig. That would be fantastic to get those main characters from that game into Smash Brothers. And Shovel Knight, it would be amazing to have Shovel Knight in there. He's got a great move set, and I think it would translate really, really well to the to Smash Brothers, like especially with the down smash with the shovel. So I think that's a great idea, Doyle's Bane. If you're looking to get a hold of me, you can do so by emailing me, just like John and Doyle's Bane did, at runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can also tweet at me at RunJumpStomp. You can call and leave a voicemail at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And of course, join the Discord by heading on over to runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And once you're there, you're going to be greeted by a bunch of awesome people who we talk about stuff every day. All right, so we'll save that as feedback. Save. Yeah, that's a very 2D game, though, Mikey. Tom Nook on Smash. Yeah, I don't think Stardew Valley fits. All right. Here is the first story. Copy link location. There you go. Whoops, I meant to do that as the bot so it wouldn't go through on the stream. There we go. All right. Let me just read through this real quick because it's been a couple days. Okay. So, Nintendo France disclosed a bunch of information about the Switch's launch, and they also talked about software. And one of the things that they talked about for software was FIFA 18, which sold 73,000 units. Again, this is only for France. So, they sold 73,000 units without digital sales. So, those are physical copies sold in France. Nintendo France's president talked about this in an interview. It's obviously in French, so I can't quote it word for word, but this was posted by Liloc 0612 on Resetera, and they kind of gave a loose translation. They said, EA is very satisfied with FIFA's sales. It is expected for the game to sell twice the amount without troubles thanks to the WC. I don't know what WC means here. It was a test for the Nintendo Switch and it passed, and we should expect new announcements coming from EA. And more generally, every third-party publisher that made a serious effort on the Switch was satisfied. So the big thing that I'm taking away from this is that we've got new announcements coming from EA. Now, we don't know when that is, and this is not information from EA. This is information by President of Nintendo France. So we don't know how accurate that information is about how pleased EA is with how well FIFA moved on the Switch. But my question to you guys, and you can let me know in one of the ways that I mentioned earlier, is that, WC means World Cup. Thank you. I'm not a sports guy, so I have no idea what that stuff means. So you can let me know in email or at Twitter or whatever. What EA games do you want to see come to the Switch? Now, for me, there's really not a lot of games from EA that I care about. Most of them are sports games. I don't really bother with sports games. So, I mean, I think, doesn't EA do Call of Duty? I guess maybe some people might want that, but I just don't care. Or is that Activision? I can't remember now. But most EA games are not games that I care about. I guess the only one that I cared about was Star Wars Battlefield 2. That's certainly not going to be coming to the Switch. Like, I've played that on my PS4, and there's no way that they're going to be able to port that to the Switch. It is way too beautiful, and it uses the Frostbite engine, which I believe the Frostbite engine has not been ported to the Switch. So that would make it a big expense in order to get the that to run on the Switch. And that's really the only EA game that I can think of that I'm interested in. But you know what? There's a lot of people who own Switches who don't like the same kind of games that I do. And I'm curious as to what games you guys are excited for from EA to come to the Switch. Let me know. And we'll call this EA Save. I'm going to try not to screw up this guy's name too badly. Capcom president Haruhiro Sugimoto, hopefully I didn't ruin his name too badly, he has talked about games like Monster Hunter coming to the Switch, especially with how popular Monster Hunter World is. And so he went on to say the discussion primarily focused on Monster Hunter World, but there was a bit of talk surrounding Nintendo's console as well. And Sugimoto started out by acknowledging the demand for Monster Hunter on the Switch. He also then pointed out how Capcom does have Monster Hunter Double Cross on the platform, but it would be very difficult to bring over Monster Hunter World as is. So I know that there's a lot of people who really want Monster Hunter World to come to the Switch. And there's a lot of people who are familiar with the Monster Hunter games who say that Monster Hunter World is definitely the best version of that game. And of course, we want the best version of that game on the Switch. But being unable to easily port something over, I totally understand how Capcom would say, we would rather not. It would be a very big cost, and in the end, it might not run well enough, because I don't know if you've seen Monster Hunter World, but that game is gorgeous on the PS4. And I doubt that they could get it pared down to run well on the Switch. Now, they do have a Monster Hunter Double Cross on the Switch, but that's really more of a traditional Monster Hunter game. The change from the older Monster Hunter games to Monster Hunter World has made the game a lot more accessible. They do a little bit better job teaching the game to you. It's still a little bit obfuscated as you're trying to play, and you're a little confused about what to do here or what to do there. But from people who are experienced with the Monster Hunter franchise, Monster Hunter World is the one that is the easiest to understand what it is that you have to do. And Monster Hunter Double Cross is one of the older ones. Now, it's already running on the Switch. It's a port of a 3DS game. And the issue with Monster Hunter Double Cross is that it's not in English. It hasn't been localized to English-speaking countries yet. So a lot of us, we don't want to buy it. I mean, yes, the Switch is region-free, and we could buy it if we wanted to, but there would be, a communication issue where we're looking at the game and we're not sure what to do. It's already opaque enough as it is without not being able to read the text. Add in the fact that it's in another language, and you would be completely lost trying to play that game. So I don't know if that's something that we can look forward to, having that game translated into English so that it could be sold to a Western audience or not. But right now, it looks like we're not going to be getting any new Monster Hunter stuff on the Switch. And there's people who are going to be really, really sad about that. But I also want to make sure that people know, or that people realize, that not every game that you want is going to come onto the platform that you would prefer that it come out to. And this is kind of leading me into another topic that happened. I didn't talk about it last episode. But there's been like some backlash against the developer of a game called A Hat in Time, which is, I guess it's a 3D platformer. I'd never actually heard of it, but the developer said, no, we're not bringing it to the Switch. And I guess they were a little snotty about how they said it. And that caused a lot of backlash because, people were saying, or they had mentioned that they had Switch dev kits. And so everybody just assumed, hey, this means that we're getting it for the Switch. And that's not necessarily true. There's become this mindset within the Switch owning community that every game has to come out on the Switch. And that's just not the case. And the way I look at it is, I can barely play the games that are coming out on the Switch. There's over 300 games on the Switch already. And I can't keep up with the ones that are coming on the Switch. I don't have enough time to worry about the other games that I'm not getting on the Switch. And yes, that's not fair to somebody who wants to have this game on this platform. But at the same time, if somebody complains that Mario Kart's not on the PS4, everybody's going to say, well, I mean, get over it, or buy a Switch if you want to play that game. Well, if a game is only coming out on a certain system and you want to play that game, then you're going to have to bite the bullet and buy that platform or not play that game. And I know that there's going to be people who are unhappy with the idea that I said that, but you have to remember, we've got lots to play, and you don't have to play everything. That's something I'm trying to convince myself every once in a while too. I don't have to play everything. I can take a pass on this idea or that IP, and I'd be okay if I didn't play every single game that comes to the Switch, because nobody can. Nobody can. Monster Hunter. Save. Thanks, Kid Curdy. Vaxxer throws games at me. Don't. I can't duck all of those. All right. So I got an email from... No. Let's start over. So yesterday, I got an email from Nintendo that was talking about my son's account. It said, "We are excited to announce that Nintendo..." Let's try that again. So I got an email last night about my son's Nintendo account. It starts out, "We are excited to announce that a Nintendo account may now be used to play games that are not published by Nintendo." And then it goes on to talk about the reason that they're telling us this is because that means that your son, your kid's avatar, or like their me or their name, would be available to third-party developers. I'm pretty interested in what this means because, well, first off, up until now, I'm a little confused too, because when I play, like if I play Rocket League, that's a third-party developer. And when I play that game, I play against people on the PS4 sometimes, or not the PS4, on the Xbox sometimes, and people on the PC sometimes. And they can, I assume that they can see RJS and then my little picture next to it, because that's what I can see when I'm playing. Oh, you know what? No, I can't. Now that I'm thinking about it, it always just says like their name, and then it has a picture that says Cynet, which is Psyonix Network. So I think that that's going to be something that's going to go away, and you're going to start being able to see when playing a third-party game like Rocket League, you're going to start to see the Nintendo icons for people's Mii's or whatever it is that they chose as their icon for that account. And what does this mean? Well, I think it means that we're closer to getting the Minecraft Better Together upgrade on the Switch, because what that does is it allows you to play Minecraft with people on the Xbox, with people on the PC. You would then be able to play with people on iPad or Android, and you're all playing together at the same time. And Nintendo needs to let everybody know, hey, we're going to be able to see your name and your little avatar thing. And I think that's what this is talking about. Now, they didn't come out and say that. It could have something to do with the online service that's coming out in September. I'm sure that a lot of you also got this email, but I'm just fishing here. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this is more important than they're letting on. I think that this is a big deal. And it's not something that we know yet, but I think some point in the future we're going to be like, oh, that's why they did that. And, only time will tell. It's not that you could not play games, it's that your Nintendo account could not your Nintendo account up until this point, your Nintendo account wouldn't show up to those third-party providers. Does that make sense? Kid Curdy, question. Are you getting an RJS or Switchcraft shirt, Run Jump Stomp? I'm assuming so. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of weird to wear a shirt with my face on it. You know? And I'm pretty secretive. Like, there's very few people that know that I have a podcast. All right, nobody's here. So I wouldn't get to wear it very often either. Hopefully that makes sense. So I've been pretty busy. I put up two, no. So since the last time that I recorded, my God, I can't talk today. I don't know how to want to phrase this. Okay. Well, the NDA has lifted now, and I have played and beat Eodrifter on the Nintendo Switch. I didn't 100% it, though. I only got to about 88%. And long story short is that it is a very good Metroidvania game. I had a lot of fun with it. It's got an awesome chiptune soundtrack. I really like the super bright and contrasting colors. And it's a very good example of a Metroidvania game. You went back and forth between these 4 different worlds, tracking down upgrades to my character, either through extra health or through boosting up my gun or giving myself new ways to traverse the alien landscape. And then, I had to fight some bosses and get back my warp core. I had a lot of fun playing Eodrifter. And you can check out my full review of it on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/runjumpstomp. The game came out today, and my review came out today. And I want to make sure you guys make sure that you check it out before you pick up the game. I really enjoyed it, and long story short, I say it's worth the $10. And since we're speaking of my YouTube channel, I just want to also remind people that I've been working on the NES Archive. The NES Archive is a series where I'm going through the games from the Nintendo Entertainment System as they came out, one game at a time. And I just released the latest video, which is NES Archive Golf. You can check that out again at my YouTube channel. Make sure that you do all the things that you do on YouTube over there. It really does help. Save. Okay. Well, today Nintendo released 3 videos. These are Nintendo Labo videos where they kind of go into a little more detail about what you can expect from Nintendo Labo. And if you've been living under a rock, then you probably have not heard what Nintendo Labo is. It's basically this game that you can get where you build things out of cardboard that interact with the Nintendo Switch in really weird ways. Definitely check out the show notes, and you can see the videos themselves. But I I decided I want to talk about one biggest takeaway from each of the three videos. So the first video is the Nintendo Labo overview. And my biggest takeaway from that is they showed off this really cool thing called the Toy-Con Garage. And it gives the user the ability to create inputs and outputs. So you can say if somebody does this with the Nintendo Labo, then the game will have this happen. And that kind of thing can really open up what Nintendo Labo can do. And I'm looking forward to seeing what people can do with this. And what I think is very important here for Nintendo Labo is the fact that they're giving people the ability to make their own inputs and outputs. I think that Nintendo would be, how do I want to phrase this? I think that they would be woefully mismanaged if they don't have a way for you to share these things online, so that if somebody creates this cool thing, then I can try it out at home as well. And it doesn't have to be a button that just you hit and it goes up into the cloud someplace. Maybe if it just has, I can't even think of how it would work. Maybe somebody would write a description and then hit the post button, because you don't know what they're doing. Like the example that they showed is somebody had a broom and they had the Joy-Cons attached to the two sides of the broom, and they treated it like a guitar, which is really crazy. And I think that there's these really cool ideas that somebody is going to think of as something amazing, and nobody's going to know about it, and that is a disaster. So I think that's something that Nintendo definitely needs to do. The second video was all about the variety kit. They call it the Toy-Con variety kit. And my biggest takeaway from that video was that they used the bike model. Like they have a little motorcycle where you put a Joy-Con in the motorcycle, and then you draw the course, like the racetrack, in the air with the motorcycle, and then the game builds that in the game, which is really crazy. I got an email today, I think, and I wish that I had had it in the show notes, but I got an email, somebody asking me if I thought it was a good idea to do Mario Kart Maker, where people could make their own Mario Karts. And I replied to him originally. Actually, I think I got the email yesterday, but I replied to him originally, that'd be a really great idea and I'd like to do it. But, developing things in 3D is tough. It's a lot more work than doing something in 2D. And so I'm not sure if that's something that would ever happen. And then this video comes out today and they're like, "Wow, it's easy. You just go like this with the Joy-Con and it draws it for you in the game." And that's crazy. And something else that they could do, they had a Toy-Con scanner where you put one of the Joy-Cons in this little cardboard gun, and you can basically take a picture of an object, and it will take like a depth map of that object and turn that into a course that you can drive on in the game. It's just it's really impressive what they've done with Labo. I think it's very, very interesting. The last video was about the robot kit, and the biggest takeaway for me was it has first person mode, which is really cool. And that, like, they showed off that you have like these different moves, like you can do a super punch. Or you can, if you're falling down and you lift one of your legs, you turns it into like a drill kick. And basically the game is how much stuff can you destroy in a certain amount of time. You get a high score, and then you can compete with somebody else. They also showed off that you can change the color of the robot in game by inserting like these cardboard screws into the backpack and then turning it. And in the game on the screen, it shows like a color wheel, and you're turning the color wheel to get the colors that you want. I think that's just really neat looking. Customization is really huge for kids. Like them being able to make the robot look exactly like it is that they colored it on the cardboard. That's really amazing. And then finally, they showed off that if you have 2 robot sets, that's a pretty big investment, but then you guys can fight each other. So first off, you would have to buy a Switch, right? And then you got to buy extra Joy-Cons, which those are $80 for an extra pair. I think it's 80, maybe it's 70. And then you got to buy 2 of the robot kits, and those are $80 a piece. So this is a really expensive 2-player game, but I'm not going to deny that it looks very cool. Now, all this aside, this does not make me want to have any of this cardboard stuff in my house. I'm not interested in having this cardboard stuff in my house. For me, that's just crazy. There's a lot. It takes up a lot of room, and you know what? My cats are going to eat it or something. But I'm sure I'll probably end up with it here anyway, whether I like it or not. And man, it is expensive, but you are getting a game. That's another thing to think about. Let's see. Let's stop. Let me check the end of that and get rid of it. Think about. Right there. We'll get rid of that. Save. Okay. I personally am not interested in it, but my son really is. Like, he thinks it's the cat's pajamas. All right, one last story today, and that's that we've got a little bit of info on the Stardew Valley multiplayer update. That make sure you click on the link in the show notes. There's more to it than just this, but the one piece of information that I got out of here is that work on the new features is now done, and we've sent all of the text off to be translated into different languages. Meanwhile, we're working on bug fixes, and once we receive the translated text and integrated it back into the game, we'll begin serious QA phase involving thorough testing of all new features in both multiplayer and single-player contexts. When that is finished, the update should be ready for public beta. I'm still shooting for a spring release for the beta. Now, a lot of people have been really excited about multiplayer Stardew Valley, but I just want to make sure everybody knows spring ends on like June 20th or something. Okay? So that means we got a long time, and that's for the beta. And we're not going to be getting the beta on the Switch. That's going to be on PC first. They specifically said when they announced that multiplayer was coming to the Switch that it was coming to the PC first because those are the people that supported them first. And they want to make sure that those people get that content before anybody else. And I can totally understand that's showing a loyalty to your fan base, and that's a good thing. So I don't expect us to get multiplayer Stardew Valley probably until September is my guess as the earliest. That's just me guessing based on trying to read the tea leaves. You know, it could be ready much sooner than that. It seems like it's a pretty long and drawn out process, but we will see what happens. And, you know, if you haven't checked out Stardew Valley, it's really cool. I think you're going to like it. Too bad I'll play Stardew Valley on PC. Yeah. I mean, the game is made for mouse and keyboard anyway, you know? Or at least for mouse. I thought I had another story in here, but I guess not. Let me hit refresh. Oh, there we go. All right, it seems like I saved the best for last, and that's mostly because I forgot that I had added it to the show notes, but Reggie Fils-Aimé seems to have inadvertently, or probably he did it totally on purpose, announced Smash for the Switch. So he was talking to an interview, and there's a long article about this, but he was talking to an interviewer about the Switch and basically the online thing that's coming out. And he said, so our overall proposition will not look the same as our competitors. But what we will do is we will recognize that what consumers like about our competitors, we will look to do it in a way that has a Nintendo flair to it. And we will look to make sure that in the end, we've got this robust online environment that not only works well for our games like Splatoon, Mario Kart, and Smash Brothers, but also works great for our third-party developers. Now, right now, Smash Brothers has not been announced for the Switch. However, if you look at, and I don't remember the exact interview, but Reggie Fils-Aimé was talking to somebody last year sometime, and they said, are we going to be getting these games on the Switch? And he said, look, what we try and do is every time we bring out a new console, we try and make sure that at least one version of all of our major titles comes to the Switch. So you can probably expect to see these things, especially since Smash Brothers is one of their best-selling titles. I'm sure that we're going to get one for the Switch. It's not a big surprise that that Smash is coming to the Switch, but what we don't know is, will it be a new Smash Brothers or will it be a port of the Wii U version? Now, honestly, I don't care which, because I don't know what they could do with a Smash Brothers to make it not just an upgrade to the one that we already have, other than just new characters. And if they just bring Smash 4 from the Wii U and port it to the Switch and add in the stuff from the 3DS, that would be enough for me. And I would be perfectly fine with that. And that's exactly what they're doing with Hyrule Warriors. So why wouldn't they do the exact same model for Nintendo Switch? I'm sorry, for Super Smash Brothers. My brain is fried today, apparently. So again, not a huge revelation here that we've got this new game coming to the Switch. We don't know when, and we don't know what it looks like, and we still have no information. So it's not a big deal. But I just thought I'd address it. All right, I need to see how long this has been. This isn't going to be a long one, I think. Tracks, align tracks end to end. A little bit more than 30 minutes. All right, the last story that I'm going to mention... No, hold on. There we go. All right, real quick, the last story that I'm going to mention today is that we have a whole bunch of eShop deals. Games like Axiom Verge, Battle Chef Brigade are on sale. There's a bunch of them, so make sure that you check out the link in the show notes. At the bottom of the show notes, you'll see one that just says eShop deals, I think. Make sure you click on that, and you can find out what games are on sale. The one that got my attention is Axiom Verge is on sale, 30% off for $14. That is a great game. I played it on PC, and I might buy it again. I might double dip on this one because it's really good. And it's another fantastic example of a Metroidvania game on the Switch. Not open? Yeah, I don't think he did it by accident, Pudding. I agree with you. I've been expecting them to unveil Smash 4 Deluxe for the Switch. That's what I've been expecting. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please let me know at one of the ways that I mentioned earlier. If you're looking for ways to support the show, make sure that you head on over to runjumpstomp.com/support. There you will find all of the links that you need to support the show. Thank you so much to everybody that does support the show. And just a shoot. Does support the show. And there we go. And a big thank you goes out to Tom Winter and Noteblock for the use of your music on the show. I have brand new outro music today. Make sure that you check that out. I'll see you guys next time on Saturday. Have a good one. Bye-bye. What was that, Kid Curdy? That